view of everybody so I can see.
Awesome. Okay, guys, welcome back tonight. We have MichaelChristoper with us tonight. He came highly recommended by Rachel.
No pressure,
Pearson.
no pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. He's going to kind of do his spiel about how he works with his group readings. I know we went over it a little bit the other night. How many of you here have been in a group reading before? Raise your hands, your real hands, not your Zoom hands. Okay, so quite a few of you. For those of you that haven't, you're in, oh, there's Caroline. You're in for a treat. Remember what I said the other night, that if your people don't come through, don't fret, don't worry. We have lots and lots of these coming up in December. We're kind of cram-packed with them. I'm just going to try not to take it personal that y'all don't show up like this in coaching. We'll talk about that at a later date. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to Mike and let him do his thing.
Well, thank you very much, Nikki. Hello, everybody. You can just wave. Need your energy.
And thank you for being with us, by the way.
So I don't know if Dave can hear me yet. Where's Dave? I'm losing Dave. He went somewhere. I'm looking for Dave. Anyway, okay. So I am probably one of the most laid back mediums you'll probably ever meet. And I'm not like your traditional medium. This was something that I was not, I'll just say we're all born with it, but I wasn't aware of it until 45. I've gone through some pretty significant events, and I'd like to talk a little bit about when spirit gets around me, I start stuttering too, so just bear with that. But I'll keep it brief. So I lost two of my brothers to cystic fibrosis. Jason passed when he was 26. My other brother Danny passed at 41 after going through two separate double lung transplants. I went through a kidney transplant in 2010. So actually December 7th will be 12 years post transplant for me. So there was all that, and then really what kicked it off, really this mediumship thing and everything spirit, was in 2015. My youngest sister Jackie was murdered. That's kind of what sparked everything, because up until that point, I don't really recall ever having anything spiritual happen, even though for years I had been reading books about mediums. I used to watch John Edward, religiously when he had a show back in 2000. But 2 months after my sister's passing, she showed up in my kitchen one morning. And that kind of was like, what is happening? And when I say show up, it wasn't like she was there in physical form. I couldn't see her with my physical eyes. It was like I felt somebody enter the room behind me. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I know I was by myself, but it felt like somebody walked in the room with me. I turned around, nobody was there. Went back to doing what I was doing, and then I felt it again, but this time I saw my sister in my mind, and I could picture her walking up behind me. And in my mind, I see her come up. She puts her arms around me and puts her head on my shoulder. And I kind of just was like, I felt the energy too, which made it just that much more, like, what is going on? But that lasted probably about 30 seconds, maybe. And then she kind of pulled away. From there, things started happening. I started exploring a little bit more. And through working with her case, I had met some psychics. And one of them was persistent in telling me that I was a medium, and I fought her like religiously, saying, no, I am not. And then one day her father showed up during just a random Zoom chat we were having. And I was like off to the races after that. And it was decision, at that point, what do I want to do with this? So I kind of took a class just to kind of see what was going on. Learned a little bit and just decided I was just going to start doing things. I started a Facebook group, not knowing what I was doing, but I wanted to practice doing readings. And that's kind of how it just started. I just started doing it. I did my first group reading probably 2 months after that, a live one, not really knowing what I was doing, but that's me. I just kind of throw myself in these very uncomfortable situations and just see what happens. And it was difficult at first, and it's still difficult, and in the way of, I'm always nervous. You know, a musician can practice their music for months before a performance. A medium stands up in front of a group of, 5 to 70 people, not knowing what is about to happen. So it's kind of like you never get comfortable with that feeling. But to me, it's a good anxiety, if that makes sense. Because I just feel the spirits, energy around me. And it keeps me motivated, keeps me in check. I always say if I lose that nervous feeling, something's not right. I need to just step back and reevaluate. So I know that was a long ramble, but I like to talk about my story a little bit just to give people an idea, especially because I do feel that everybody has this ability. Some people just aren't aware of exactly how it works. Thanks to TV, they think it's going to be some vivid experience. Most of the time it's very subtle. And so is communication with spirit. But again, it's like learning a new language. Once you understand how spirit communicates with you, because we're all different, it is the more you work with it, the stronger it gets. And that's all it takes is just practice, like anything else. So I know everybody here has had their own experience, whether you realize it or not. I know you have. Some of us are just crazy enough to actually step up and do this for other people, not knowing what exactly is about to happen. But it's always interesting. And I will say this, the purpose of mediumship is to demonstrate the survival of the soul. So in a group setting like this, we only have so much time. I can usually manage about an hour or so before my energy just goes. But I try to get through as many, spirit people as possible to try to connect. But I always tell people, just like when I used to watch John Edward, I knew I would never get a reading from John Edward. But every time I watched this show, I always walked away with something new, and then going through my illness, it was something to look back on, to know that if things didn't work out, there's at least that thought in my mind that there's something beyond the physical. So even those messages that I watched on TV with John, again, we can all resonate with the messages that come through, whether it's for you personally or not. There's always something there that we can walk away with. And for me, at the minimum, it's that seed that gets planted that, this is just a temporary stop along our soul's evolution. That's my thought, my feeling on it. And I always say, it's when we lose somebody, it's temporary. I know I'm going to see my brothers. I know I'm going to see my sister. It's just a matter of, sometime. I'm in no hurry, but I know they're there. Excuse me. And it's very dry up here in North Dakota, so I gotta grab some water. I'm gonna mute for a second and really clear my throat. All right. So, does anybody have any questions before we start? I'd like to interact with people a little bit. It kind of gets the energy going and good stuff like that. If there's no questions, I'll just continue on and kind of tell you what to expect a little bit.
I don't have a question. I was just going to tell you that something we say in here that they're just invisible with superpowers. So
that's it. That's all it is.
That's what we say about them, So
yep, they're there.
Exactly.
So in a group, I kind of work in a couple different ways. Usually I just wait for them, and they arrange. The one who grabs my attention first is the one I gravitate towards, and I just start sharing what I'm seeing, here, and feeling. I never know who's going to show up. There may be someone that I get pulled to. If I get drawn to somebody in the Zoom chat, I might just go to, just example, Emily, if it's you. If I just get drawn to you, I may just say, okay, I have somebody here for you, and just go that way. But usually I just wait for them to show up.
Mike, do we need to make sure they all have their names on their squares so that if you are pulled to somebody, you can
That's fine. If it comes to somebody that doesn't have their name up, I'll just, we'll narrow it down, because there isn't that
many.
Yeah,
okay.
But so what I ask though is just really everybody stay tuned, pay attention to the information that's coming through. Don't try to make it fit. you know, for instance, if I have somebody that steps forward and I feel it's a male past at 54, past of a heart attack, you know, don't turn it into, raise your hand and come to find out, no, the person you're looking for is actually 14 past of blah, blah, blah. And I understand everybody wants a message, but I've had that happen more times. And I'm like, so you understand the information? Well, not really. He was only 14. Okay, well, this guy here is 54. And he says he passed of a heart attack. Well, my guy's 14 and passed a motorcycle accident.
You're
You get my point.
you're already reading, Mike. That one already hits here.
And
A
sometimes I
male of
don't even know.
Yeah, a male of
So.
54 that passed a heart attack. Yep.
So they could be here and I'm just not aware of it fully yet. So we'll just see. We'll see where that goes. But I try to keep it short so that way I can get to many. So basically it's like I'll make a connection, find out who this person in spirit is connected to. And give, it's like a greeting card from the other side. So it's not going to be a full-blown 20-minute reading. It's just going to be a quick, hey, this is me. I'm just saying hello. And we'll just see where it goes. So I always I know they never shut me out. They're always here, but that's my biggest fear. I show up, I sit down and get ready to do this and I hear crickets. It's never happened. I'm still waiting for that first time. Hopefully tonight it's not. So with that, I'll stop yapping. And we'll get going. I do have my scribble pad over here because I like to scribble. So here we go. So Nikki, would this person have any connection with the railroad at all?
I don't know. He's not my person.
Okay.
Kathy, do you want to step in?
So with the male, I just feel a male here, and it's like he's showing me something connection to the railroad. So I don't know if this is his job, and it's interesting because I was feeling this person earlier today, and I kept, sometimes throughout the day I'll just have these fleeting thoughts.
Yes, there is a connection to the railroad.
Okay, so the 54, the heart attack, that all fits with this guy.
56, but he never could remember his actual age because he didn't celebrate birthdays.
Okay, it's interesting because it's like, even I wasn't even really aware when I was using an example. Sometimes they're here and I just don't even realize they're there. But if there is, that's how it sets them apart. Because I'm feeling some connection to the railroad. So if that fits, I'll go ahead with this person. Now, would this be dad? Is this father?
No.
Okay. Sometimes they reference people too that they could be referencing dad. So let me just connect further with him. He kind of doesn't want to talk about his passing. So I don't know if he was a smoker, but I'm seeing a reference to smoking too. Was there something with smoking? Okay. So it's all kind of related to that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to talk about his passing. He goes, we're over that. We're past that. He's like,
that does not surprise me one bit.
May I just ask how you're connected to this person? I'm not feeling the relationship.
He was my common law husband.
Okay.
Or he is my common law husband.
Maybe that's why, because I wasn't feeling a direct connection. So I'm like, what? Let me just.
We were together for 26 years.
He's already making me feel that he didn't take care of himself the way he should have. And he's fully acknowledging that he didn't pay attention as close as he wanted to.
Yeah.
He's also wants to. He's almost make me feel like you've heard this before, but he wasn't good with sharing his emotions, feelings, like a guy we usually don't. But he just keeps sending you like hearts and kisses, and he's just like, but at the same time make me feel that that's not him. You know what I mean? That's something he wouldn't do. I'm also
Absolutely.
picking up, he's kind of like me. I'm sarcastic. And it's almost like he's making me feel exactly what I do. When I care for somebody, I tease them. And he's like, if I teased her anymore, that's how I showed my affection. It was like through sarcasm in a way. It's hard to put in words, but do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Um, um, would he's saying be careful when you walk, and he's laughing about it. I don't know. Do you trip? There's something about, I
Yes.
just feel like, is this something that happened recently?
Frequently.
Okay, because he's like,
yeah, I frequently trip.
okay, because he's laughing and saying, watch it when you walk.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And he is acknowledging he hears you when you talk to him. And again, he's like, she's not crazy. So I don't know if you think you're crazy when you're having these communications with him back and forth, but he's like, he's adamant about he hears you when you talk to him. Do you get easily frightened? Because he's like, I want to be around more, but it's like he's afraid that he's gonna like shock you in a way by
No. No.
let me just he just said congratulations on taking this big step. I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't know if that makes sense, but he wants to congratulate you on taking this big step.
Oh my God.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And sometimes they don't give me the context of it, and that's fine. It's not for me to understand, you know, and especially if it's personal, but that he just said that loud and clear. It's like, congratulations. He just wants you to understand he knows about this big step, and he's congratulating you on taking that big step. And I don't know if somebody just celebrated a birthday, but I hear happy birthday. So I don't know if there's a birthday. It just can't. Usually when I see birthdays, it's like it's like weird because I see it within like, it could be the month prior to the month after, but it's usually like a 3-month period.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the birthday.
Yeah, there was a birthday in October.
Okay. And was it for a male? Because I'm seeing blue balloons. I don't, okay.
No.
I just seen blue balloons. Okay. Okay. So he knows there's other people waiting. It's just his opportunity to step forward and let you know that he is here. I don't know what he's trying to reference. He's talking about the marriage and the common law marriage, and I'm trying to understand what he's trying to convey, but it's like we didn't need that piece of paper. Is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
Okay, because he's like, it wasn't important to either of us.
Right. Yeah.
And he's just saying, take your time, meaning here in the physical world, take your time. Don't worry about what's going on there. Just know that everybody's okay there. But he just wants you to know it's like you need to be here. You need to be here. We're not worried about that. Know that that is going to happen. There is going to be a reunion, but he's like, it's important for you to understand you need to be here mentally, physically, emotionally. It's like you need to be invested here because you just need to be here.
Got it.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
And that's a Michael as well. He's a Michael.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad that we share our same sense of sarcasm because I feel that very strongly with him.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so let's see who else wants to come forward here. This is interesting in the way that I'm feeling a sense of how this person passed, but I'm trying to get, I know it's a male because when males come in, they're on my right. So I'm feeling this on my right side right now, but someone's acknowledging like passing from drowning. So I'm feeling like somebody that drowned. 14, I'm seeing the number 14 associated with this person that passed. I'm just seeing drowning. But I also feel that he's making me feel it's not somebody that's actually connected to this person directly here, but somebody knows of this situation is the feeling I'm getting from this person. So I'm just going to ask, is there anybody here that can connect with somebody? Do you know somebody who lost? I'm feeling this is a young man, a young boy, 14 years old that passed from drowning. And sometimes I just get these. And what I do, if nobody can connect, I'll just pass a message. And if it does become aware, you know, somebody's like, oh my God, I remember. That's why I never cast them aside. It's never an accident that these people show up.
I just talked to a friend Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, about her child that drowned, but he was not 14. So, but I knew she had lost a child, but I didn't know how. And she just was telling me about it the night before Thanksgiving, but he was not 14. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Did he pass from drowning though?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The 14 could be something other than an age. I'm just seeing 14,
Right.
but was he younger though? I don't see him as an
Yes.
adult.
Yes, he was 2. He was just a
Okay.
baby. He was 2.
All right, I just got this feeling. Would he be 14 now?
No.
Okay. Let me just see what this person gives me because I'll just work through it.
Okay.
But again, he made me feel that he wasn't directly connected to somebody here, but somebody knows of him. That's the
Right.
feeling he gave me. I'll just as I'm getting in. Okay, so I'm just gonna. What he's showing me is a swimming pool. I'm seeing somebody just turn their back for a second, and it happened. Would that make sense?
It was not a swimming pool, but yeah, she walked away and walked back, but the father was sitting there and she walked away, and I guess he didn't realize she had walked away, so he wasn't paying attention to the baby. And
okay, because again, it could be my frame of reference. They just show me the situation of somebody
Yeah.
walked away, it happened, and it happened
Yes.
really fast.
Yes, really fast.
Let me just see what else I get here. And is there an M name connected to this person or the family? M. I keep seeing like M, Marty. Sometimes I hear phonetics, but I'm seeing an M name. And it's okay if it doesn't
Her
make
last
sense.
name is Maynard.
Maynard, okay. Because I was just seeing an M type name connected to this situation. Sometimes I don't see or hear the full name. I just get like an initial.
Right, right.
So was this a little boy? I'm just trying to feel.
Yes.
Was this okay?
Yes, a 2-year-old little boy.
Okay. So what he's sharing with me is, as hard as this is, because I just feel dad's guilt. I feel the guilt. He's telling me too that he's come through before for this family. I don't know if you're aware of that, but he's like, he needs to finally understand. This goes for the mom too, but he's like emphatically saying you have permission to forgive yourself. It's like, I mean, he can't say it any louder, any stronger. It's like, he's like, please let this prison sentence go, is what he's making me feel. Let that go.
Yes. Yes.
Some things happen and it's out of our control. It wasn't anything that was planned. It was not purposeful. It's an accident.
Right.
He understands how hard it is.
Yes.
And there's other children, because he's making me feel you have to be a parent to the other children.
One other child, yes.
Okay.
Uh,
And he's gonna be really quick, but he's like, they need to know it's okay to laugh. It's okay to live.
uh-huh.
Um, okay, and he's gonna kind of keep this short since it is for them, but he just
Right.
please, if you feel comfortable passing it, but he's like,
Yes.
please pass that to him. It's
I
okay.
will. I
It's
will.
okay.
Yeah, it's the mother that I know. I don't know,
Okay.
Can I,
but yeah.
Go ahead, Robin.
can I ask, um, are you certain that it's not directly connected to one of us? Because a lot of the
It-
points are hitting with me.
That's
Oh.
okay. And I failed to mention at the beginning, if something is resonating with you, because spirit is very efficient. Spirit will take opportunity to come through together. And if it makes sense for you, if the information that's coming through is, if you feel it is connected to you, please take that as that's a message for you as well. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And Nikki hit it right on the head. It's piggybacking.
Okay. Because my son, Mitchell, the thing that's not hitting is the age.
Okay.
But my son, Mitchell, jumped from a bridge. And I don't know. And Mitchell Martin. And so
Okay.
when you started getting to the M, that's when it started.
Okay. He may be here too. So let me, I'll kind of try to separate them out. But
Okay.
Rita, please, thank you so much for being open to that. And again, it's okay. That's what he's just saying. It's okay. Okay. So Rita, or I'm sorry, Robin, let me just see if he can, if he'll kind of separate and I can pick up on him too. So right away, I feel bipolar. Would you know, did he have, like, was he struggling with like depression or issues of that nature? Because I'm feeling, again, I'm just feeling this. I connected like bipolar, like depression.
Depression for certain, bipolar, not that I know of.
Okay. And sometimes I can't separate the two, but that's kind of the feeling he gave me, that it was like bipolar, not necessarily diagnosed, but I'm just feeling that way. Like depression is the biggest thing, but I'm feeling bipolar with it. Sometimes we have it not knowing it, but it's just making me feel like those ups and downs.
He may have been, because this was totally unexpected for the family and he wasn't
Okay.
living with us. So, of course
Okay.
he would have hidden that.
And this is your son then? Is that what
Yes.
you, okay, let me just see. Because I wanted to give me some information that will, without a doubt validate that it's him. He wants me to talk about a hat. Did you find a hat of his after his passing? He just showed me like a ball cap, something that would have been his, but he's like,
I mean, there was a hat in his things, but it didn't stand out. But there was a hat amongst a few things that I have.
okay, because he's making me, I don't know, he just shows me the image of somebody finding like a ball cap that was his. But I see it as somebody reaching under like a bed and finding this hat. But just remember, I said it may not fit. I don't know. It's just sometimes they try to get me to understand things in a way.
Right.
So let me just see what else. He's making me feel, and this is hard to interpret. I'm trying to convey this the best I can. Did you know something was, because he's making me feel like before he did it, I don't know, he showed me like you two being in the same room and there's like a shared look, like there's something about looking at each other and just this feeling of something's not right.
We did not live near each other, but the night before we had a conversation and I said to him, I just said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "I don't know. Your voice sounds funny." He's like, "Oh, you're being silly, Mom." And I'm like, "Well, okay." Just kind of that mommy sense.
Yeah,
thing.
and I'm trying to get. And the thing is too, he's taking full responsibility. He's not trying, he wants people to understand nobody could have stopped this. Nobody could have prevented this from happening. And this is nothing, no, he's like, this is nobody's fault, but my own. I don't know if there was a breakup, if he was in a relationship that ended. He's making me feel something about a relationship that ended. And I don't know if you're aware.
He was in an abusive relationship. I did not know if he didn't say anything about a breakup, but that's not to say that there wasn't. Okay. So like I said, he lived in Florida and I'm in Texas. So
okay. But that's what he's making me feel like, this relationship. And there was other things, but there's something about that relationship. And again, I know you already shared it was just happened, but even for him, it was out of character because he's making me feel it was like this fleeting thought and it just happened. He just did it. It wasn't something that was planned out. I'm trying to get him to come closer because it's like I get something and then he backs off, get something, backs off.
he has a habit of doing that.
Okay. And sometimes it gets personal, but it's
it's okay.
So are you and his father, are you separate?
Yes, completely.
Okay. Is there anything about, because he shows me coming together, like you two coming together in a way to kind of like help each other mend from this? Does that make it all sense? It may be something that he's hoping for, that you two talk. It's important, is what he's making me feel like, to come together to kind of just share this and talk it through. I don't know, has that happened? Because I feel that that's what he wants to talk about.
No, his father and I don't speak. His brother, that might be an issue, but his father and I don't speak since his sister left.
Just remember that I said this because I think it's something that could be beneficial. And again, it's just a suggestion from him. Not right. It's up to you what you choose to do with it. And I'll just leave it there because he's kind of like, I just want to leave it there. Okay.
Okay.
And he just showed me the image of a bumblebee. So I don't know if you connected with bumblebees, but it's almost, I feel like that's him sending you the bumblebees.
Okay.
And I just want to try to get one more thing from him. This is kind of, sometimes they're like this. It's kind of like in and out, like I said earlier. So it's kind of like I'm piecing this together. Is there any kind of foundation that was started after his passing? Or work with a foundation? I just see something about a foundation. Working with a foundation. And if it doesn't make sense, that's fine. It's very spotty.
Yeah, now there was, again, after his sister, which was recent, and his sister left because he left. I mean, that's the only connection I can make to a foundation.
Okay, so his sister is also crossed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Recently.
Because I'm not feeling her right now, but is that foundation connected? You said it's connected to her then?
Well, both of them, yeah.
Okay, so he just wants to reference that to let you know that he's aware of that he's aware of the foundation.
Okay.
And he kind of wants to stop there. Again, you're being very polite, knowing that there's others lined up or waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I thank you for being open. Sometimes the communication is very spotty, but
no, thank you.
He wants you to know too, and this goes for the family, he didn't suffer.
He did or did not?
Did not.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so about this point, I want to just see, does anybody have anything? Questions? I love answering questions because I know there's people that always have, questions about mediumship or anything, how it works. I like to kind of break up the reading so it's not just like boom, boom, boom. I want everybody to have a chance to participate in some way. Don't be shy, but I just like to give that opportunity to answer questions too. Curiosities, anything.
I just want to know, what does it feel like for you?
When I connect?
Yeah, like you said, you could feel your sister. What do you mean, like feel?
So it's kind of like if I'll just use the example that she actually did. But you ever been in a room and somebody walks up behind you and you can feel them enter the room before you even turn around? Like, somebody's in your space.
I
When
mean, they
somebody
would have
walks
to
up.
be really right up on top of me. Yeah.
Yeah, but that sensation, right?
Yeah, I guess. I guess it doesn't happen that frequent. So I guess.
Has anybody been in your personal space that like you need to back off?
Yeah, my kids used to know.
There you go. It's that exact feeling. It's like you feel somebody there. Somebody's there. You feel their energy. You feel the. That's what it felt like. It felt like somebody walked right up to me. And it's strange, and it takes a lot of energy for that to happen. And sometimes, most of the time when I'm connected, I don't feel the energy of the spirit person coming through. And there'll be other times where I communicate with pets. And I was sitting here doing it. This is the most recent one I remember. A freaking horse walks up to me, and I like moved because I felt him as his head was like right here. I was like, what the hell? And it was some lady's horse that was, in the group. It was just like, it made me move because I felt it that strong. So it's just, yeah. But 99% of the time, communication, subtle, it's very subtle energy. It's almost like a thought.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you get thoughts dropped into your head?
Oh yeah, that's how this works completely. And the thing is, it's like, now I'm talking to you, so I'm all in, here.
Mhm.
But when I'm communicating with spirit, my awareness is always behind me. For some reason, that's just where my consciousness goes when I communicate with spirit. And I know at that point, everything coming through is from them. It's not my thoughts. So, and it's a an exercise in trusting that what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, it's not my own. So I just say it, whatever it is, I talk about it because I know that's them. So, and again, we all experience it different, and it's just a matter of understanding how it works for you.
Thank you.
Interesting. Do you communicate with spirit at all? Because I'm just feeling that
I
it's easy to
can,
talk.
yeah, and just I can see little orbs around. See, and then when I'm in that space of half, like when I first get up in the morning and I'm not quite awake.
Oh yeah.
My eyes closed, I can see different symbols.
Because what I've kept feeling is for you to take like a class. I don't know if you've taken a development class, but
I have.
It's just something to think about again, because there's something there that's like tugging at you is what I'm feeling. It's funny you mentioned that because my brother he's a clown. I'll literally hear his voice. Like I'll be sound asleep and he'll yell my name standing next to my bed and wake me up out of a dead sleep and then laugh. I'm like, you son of a bitch. It's like, get the hell out of here.
It sounds like my son would do that.
Yep.
Now, is this your brother Daniel? Is this your brother Daniel?
One of my brothers is Daniel and one of them's Jason.
Okay. I was just wondering which brother that was.
Yep. Yep. Danny's the quiet one. Jason's the clown. So, okay. But I just feel again, something to consider, but I just feel the need to tell you that you need to, it's suggested that you just explore a little bit further because there's something there with you as far as, opening up.
Yes.
I'm also prompted to tell you to just take your time looking for the right teacher. Feel into it. If it feels right, good. If it doesn't, don't just ignore it. Really pay attention attention. This goes for anybody looking for any kind of development classes. Make sure you research the person that you want to study with. Get a feeling for the person. If you can see their work, it's even, more important. But I don't know. I just feel I'll leave it there, or I'll just keep hounding you that you need to explore. You need to explore further.
Absolutely. No, I've heard this before. So thank you.
Okay. Well, good. They like to repeat. So, all right. Anybody else?
Michael, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So when you connect, do you go directly to the other spirits, or do you know your guides? And do your guides come in at all? And like, those are my questions. And then also, do you connect with your people?
Yes. And let's see, the first question is, I know who my guides are, but I do not use them to communicate with spirit. I go directly to them.
Okay.
So when they step forward, I'm communicating directly with the spirit, and that's how I work. There are people that work through their guide. I know when I teach people to get used to connecting with the spirit themselves and not to be reliant on a guide.
Sure.
And it's uncomfortable because people get really used to their guides, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. And even at some point, your guides are going to go, okay, we're going to step back, and you need to connect directly to them.
Sure. Yep. Okay.
So yes, I connect directly with them. And what was the second question? I'm sorry, I'm getting all like.
Well,
fuzzy
you
again.
answered two, so that was good. You connect directly to spirit, and you do know your guides. You just don't use them in your connection. That was two of my questions. And then my last question I just had, and then it left because that's how my brain works.
Mine too. So
I forgot what my last
if it pops up
question was,
later,
and it was a really good one.
If you think about it, just go ahead and
you asked
something.
if he connects to his people.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially my sister. My sister has been very instrumental, at least in the very beginning, the first few years, several years, I should say, with my development.
Sure. She was loud for you.
She was loud, and it's a long story, but I didn't get to know her in the physical world. We had like a 14-year difference in age, and she was born to my dad's second marriage. So I had the opportunity to meet her the last time I was home before her passing, and it just didn't work out. And then it happened. So it's weird that in a way that we've gotten to know each other, if you want to say, from, I don't know, the connection we have now, getting to know who she was while she was here in the physical, who she was as Jackie, because I believe that we have many incarnations, and, we're more than just the person we were in this physical world.
Absolutely.
And, getting to know her through my other sister, filling me in on stuff. But yes, so she was really the one kicking me in my ass to get moving. She does that periodically when I want to run away from this. She reminds me why I'm doing this.
Sure. Yeah.
So she is
cool.
Yeah, big part of it.
That's awesome. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to try to connect, and then maybe we can do some more questions and answers. I love doing that. It just, so let me just feel into this and see where I'm going. So I do have a female stepping forward. I'm just going to work with her. I'm just asking her to come closer. I feel like this woman was a florist at some point in her life, because I'm seeing just this. I'm actually seeing like a floral shop, and I'm trying to figure if it was like her hobby, or if it was something she actually did. And I do feel this would be mom. I'm just feeling like mom. I'm also feeling a connection to like diabetes with her. And I feel that was a complication that led to her passing. It was complications from being a diabetic. And it's weird, I keep hearing like a G name like Gladys. I don't know if there's a connection to Gladys. I'm actually hearing that name very clearly, like Gladys. Might not be her, but I'm just hearing Gladys. So let me just stop there and ask if anybody connects with that information. Because I don't like to throw too much out before stopping to see if it makes sense to anybody so far. Nobody? Okay.
I don't connect to the Gladys part, but everything else sounds like my grandma who passed 2 months after my daughter.
Okay, so could you just reiterate what makes sense? It just helps build the connection with her then. The diabetes.
The florist. Yep, the florist and the diabetes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And sometimes I don't get the relationship exactly right, but I was just feeling this. Now, would she have been like a mom? Because sometimes when they feel like when they come through as mom, it's almost like the relationship was close, like a mom.
Yep, I was very close to her. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how she's making me feel. It's like she may have been grandmother, but I feel this is like a really strong connection, almost like mother. Excuse me. So let me just work with her for a moment here and see what else she wants to. Would you understand a reference to recipes? This is so cliche when like a grandmother comes through, you're like, of course you're going to talk about recipes. Is there something about recipes that you would understand?
I mean, she was always coming up with something to make, so yes.
Okay, okay. There's sometimes you're like, oh, go figure. Here comes grandmother recipes. Of course you would talk about recipe. So I'm like, okay. But if they say it, make me feel I'm going to talk about it. So do you try to replicate something? Because she's making me feel like you replicate or try to cook like her.
I do, yep, quite often, yeah.
She's interesting because she's like, stop measuring, she's showing me like I'm Italian. My grandmother she wouldn't measure, she would just reach in and throw stuff in. So I don't know if that's what she did, but she's like, you're trying to be too precise. She's kind of teasing. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but so let me just.
It does.
Okay. So I don't remember, did you just say you lost a child also?
Yes.
Okay. Because what your grandmother just showed me is was your child very young when she passed? Is it a she? Is it a she?
It is, yeah, my daughter was very young. Yeah, she was a year old.
Okay, because your grandmother showed me holding this baby in her arms. So that's just a way for her to just let you know that she's there. She's not alone. I know you know this. She's like, you know this. Yeah. But she really wants to talk about it's just she's not alone. Was her birthday recently? I just seen a reference to a birthday anniversary.
Yeah. My daughter's birthday was on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. Would you understand a connection with a heart defect, or was there something around the heart?
Yeah, my daughter passed from a heart defect.
Okay. She's just making me feel so much right now as far as like you as a mother. It's like the connection that, and I'm using this in the present tense because that's the way she makes me feel. You were and are the best mother. She goes, even though the time was short, it was like there was a connection that can never be broken. Never. Even though her life here wasn't long, she wants you to know that she's going to continue to watch and be with you going forward. She's not going to miss out on anything. I got to talk about this because this is what she's making me feel. So with you and her father, is there something with her passing that brought you even closer together? She wants me to talk about something pulling closer together, like a relationship, making it stronger.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Did she have an A name? I'm seeing Alyssa. I don't know if that connects anywhere. Sometimes I hear random names, but I'm just hearing Alyssa. So if I hear it, I just throw it out. So that's fine if it doesn't connect. So what she's showing me is right after her passing, she's showing me she's showing me a dream. And what I relate that to is a visitation from her right after her passing. Do you recall she's making me feel like she visited you, like there was something there, like you had this conscious like moment of that's her. If that makes sense, it's hard to sometimes convey what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Did she share something with you? Like, it's almost like a profound thought is what she's making me feel like, almost like advice going forward. Does that make sense in any way? She's making me feel like she shared
Say it again.
So during that visitation that she had with you, we sometimes think it's a dream, but she's making me feel like she shared a profound message with you during that visit, that dream. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but she's just making me feel like she tried to convey something to you.
Yeah, she likes to boss me around a lot. So yes, she's said a lot of profound things to me for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's hard sometimes with messages because they didn't have a lot of time here in the physical. So there's only that, there's only so much they can share about their physical experience. I'm just going to see what she'll share with me. Are you planning to have more children, or was there another child born after her passing?
No, I am hoping to be a mom again soon.
Because she's saying, she goes, I'm sending you. I don't want, this is hard because when she says it, I don't want to like spoil anything. She is showing me a gender. I don't know if you want me to share that with you, but she's like sending, and
oh yeah, go ahead.
She's like, I'm sending you my brother. So I'm just taking for what it's worth. But she's like, I'm sending you my brother.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Does she have like a blanket with her where she's either laid to rest? She keeps showing me a blanket.
Yeah, she did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that's, it could be very, vague, but she's making a point about talking about being with her blanket. I don't know if there's a pacifier there too, but she's showing me all these little things. Do you ever get the scent of baby powder? She's making me feel like when she's around, there's something about a scent. Like I'm almost experiencing it. It's almost like after a child has a bath, there's this kind of scent that's, I don't know if it's the soap or the powder, but there's something about this scent of like after a bath. She's making me feel like when she's around you, you'll experience this scent. Does that make sense at all?
It does, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just know that when you experience that is her with you. She showed me all kinds of things. She shows me like when she's around you, she likes to stay, or I'll say stand on your left side, because it's like she's making me feel like you'll feel some sensation on your left leg, like your calf area. There's something about that side. Does that make sense?
It does, yep.
Okay. So again, this is just her way of coming through to let you know that she's not, even though she's not here physically, she is with you, and she will always be with you. You will always be her mother. And and again, she's even saying, and this is like she's saying it to everybody when she says this. It's okay to live your life. It's okay to laugh. it's okay to go forward. They're always going to be with you. It's like the way she's making me feel. It's like they want us to let go of that guilt. And it's okay. They're like, you need to enjoy this experience because it doesn't last forever. Okay. So again, not only to you, Megan, but to everybody else. Again, it's a universal message from Spirit when they pass. They want you to have fun. And this is her. Oh my God. It's okay to laugh at a fart joke. I don't know where that came from, but I'm saying because that's what I just heard. So
Josie's been hanging out with the big kids too much, Megan.
I guess so.
So it's okay to laugh.
Well, thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Megan. You're welcome. Let's see. I feel I know who this may be coming through. Dave, are you on still? Because I'm almost, or Emily.
Yes, we're both on. He's
Okay.
beside me.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Dave, how are you? So immediately when he stepped forward, I didn't know at first, but again, I feel as soon as he started talking about his passing, I almost feel that I know who this is. So I don't want to talk about it, but I feel like it is. It's like I feel the male. He's taking responsibility for his passing. It is suicide. It's like I feel this at the core. Like I know this is your son. And is that how your son passed?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. He wants to congratulate or talk about somebody who's on to their next career. He's acknowledging like next career. Did somebody just start a new job or is thinking about it? Because he's talking about next career.
Well, you started in the last year. I mean, he was with the same company for 27 years, and now he's with another one in the last year. So that may be new in the spirit world.
Okay. Because that's what he led with, was like next career. I don't know. He's making me. Do you feel much more happy with this? Because he's making me feel like this is a better fit for you. Because he's making me feel like you're more content. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So he's pulling my attention to you, Emily. Why don't you believe that I'm around you? I mean, he's very forthright in my face about that. He's like, he's making me feel like he's around you, but you're not really like believing it completely or fully. Does that make sense at all? Because he's
No, it doesn't, because, well, I don't know. I mean, it's like I know it, but then I'm always wanting validation. So maybe he would get frustrated with me because he'd answer, like he'd answer a question, and even in spirit, it's kind of like, I'm around me. Why do you keep asking for validation? So maybe
that's
I
what he's
know it.
okay. So that makes sense then, because he's like frustrated that it's like she knows I'm there, but she's always asking for more.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's me. He knows that about me.
Yeah. And just so you know, even though Dave took a class with me, I don't know, this has been about 2 years, Dave? 1 year, 2 years? It's been a while.
Probably 1 year.
Okay. I don't remember anything about reading, so it's kind of interesting when he made me feel that again. It's like, I always have this thought in my mind, am I remembering this? But literally, I don't remember what I had for lunch today. So, let me just see what else. Did somebody recently take up golf? He's bringing up golf, making reference to playing golf.
Not that we know of.
Okay.
But I mean, my father's an avid golf player who didn't play for a while, for years, and he started playing a lot recently. So he didn't just take it up, but he maybe took it back up. Maybe he means that.
Okay, that's probably it then, because he's just making me making reference to somebody playing golf, and I just took it as somebody's just picking or beginning, so it could be that it's just resuming. So it's just him saying, I'm aware of that. And you said this would be his grandfather then?
Yeah, and he's named after him. My dad will love that.
Okay, so just he's aware of this. And it's kind of like the way he makes me feel is like you guys already know all this stuff. You know I'm around, you know I'm watching. It's almost like old hat for him. And that's the kind of the attitude I feel is like, I'm just popping in to say a quick hello.
Yeah, and I kind of always worry that he won't come through because I know he knows where he's here and that we can reach him directly, but yet I still want him to come through. There's still that selfish
And
part
then
of
he
me
just,
that
as soon as you said that, he's like, he cut you off and he goes, yeah, but you don't acknowledge me and you want more. So he's back to that again.
he's got an attitude and spirit too, huh?
Some things never change. So again, he just really, because he wants to just leave it at that, but this is just his way of saying, hey, I'm here.
Oh, we appreciate it. We love it.
So again, and what he's acknowledging is the progress you've made since his passing, that you both have healed tremendously is what he's making me feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you're almost normal again is what he's laughing as he says that, but he's like, they're almost normal again.
Yeah, there's some guilt in that though. It's something you have to work through. You kind of feel, like you said, they want us to do that, but you kind of feel guilty 2 years later to say that. It's hard to say, it's hard to acknowledge that, but he's right.
Yeah. But again, he just wants you to know he's proud of the healing and the work that you've done and the progress you've made. But he's also referencing the help that you've provided to others. He's like, they're really good about helping others that have gone through this, kind of like taking people under their wing and helping them kind of find their way. So again, he's just acknowledging that he's aware of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my brother lost his son earlier this year, and I've been kind of going through it with him.
It helps us too.
Yep. And he's applauding you for that. He goes, okay, he literally just did this to me. He showed me the peace sign and he's like, I'm out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Yep. So, well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
All righty. So let's chat. Anybody have anything? I'm kind of getting to that point where, I may be able to pull one more, but I kind of just want to get the energy up. Everybody get involved again. It helps like kind of lift that energy. I don't want anybody falling asleep. I know I'm boring, but go ahead.
If a family member has a near-death experience and they don't recall it yet, how do we know if their person in spirit greeted them? Or can you know that? Or you just have to wait for enough trauma to pass to see if recall happens?
I wish I could answer that. I don't really know much about near-death experiences because I've never experienced it. I'm just trying to think, because I have talked with a few people that have had near-death experiences. I don't know, the ones I've talked to the ones that I have personally talked with have, immediately recalled it. So I'm not sure how to answer that one at all. I wish I could, but I can't.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And that's another fallacy about mediums that, they know everything. I barely know squat. I'm same as everybody else, except I've learned how to communicate. But it's interesting.
So you're saying there are no lottery numbers for us, Michael, because we were expecting lottery numbers.
I'll tell you this, if I could draw lottery tickets or numbers, I would not be on the Zoom call right now. I'd be some beach somewhere.
Right.
I'm wondering though if it works the other way too, like if you connect with the person in spirit, if they have a recall of what they saw, like from their standpoint, not necessarily the person going through it. Is that
You mean when we cross talking
No.
about the experience?
no, like the person in spirit, if they if they witness the event.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever asked, or I don't think anybody's ever given it from that perspective before. I'm sure everybody here has heard of near-death experiences where if it's not your time, there's always a person on the
Sure.
other side, family, friend, whatever that says, nope, you can't go any further. But yeah, I don't think in the time I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever had a spirit talk about somebody in the family that, had that touch, being there and then returning. So again, it would just be anecdotal, I guess. That's interesting though. I'm gonna have to ask my friends, if they've talked with spirit that have, had a family member that, temporarily was there and then was like, nope, you're going back. Not your time.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be for their perspective. From their perspective, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you talk about how, our kids say they'll always be with us. And then you mentioned about Andrew saying, I'm here and all of that. I guess I know my personal fear is if he feels like we're doing well and we're healed and we don't need to feel him around, will it be one of those situations where if they feel that way, then they'll not come around, like, oh, you don't need me anymore? Because that's my fears. It's almost like if I acknowledge that, he'll be like, okay, well, they don't need me around anymore, and like go off and do whatever thing they do.
I'll just give you my experience with that. Because you got to remember, okay, and this is all theory. Okay, I don't know anymore, again, like, what anybody else knows. But I know they have lives over there. It's not just, sitting in the clouds, hanging out, waiting for us to, come back to them. But from my experience, I will go like months without feeling my brothers or my sister around me. And again, I understand that. It's like they got their own thing to do over there. But every time, I send them a thought, they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and my sister,
I'm not going to stop thinking of him, so I don't want to feel like, I guess there's just this fear of you'll feel like, well, they don't need me.
No, I don't feel that's truly. It may be like me. It's hard because I don't think about it or talk about it often, but it's like the connection is less. It's like less vivid, less. It's not as strong as it was when they first passed. I'll just say that, but they're always there. But I gotta remember, it's not them. They're not here for us at every beck and call, if that makes sense. It's just like if you had a family member who's still here, would you, drop everything you're doing to go to them every time they think about you? And that's the kind of the way I'm thinking about that. That's the thought that's dropping in my head. It's not that they don't want you in their lives or need you. It's just like, come on, mom, I got stuff to do here. It's the feeling I'm getting, it's like, but no, I don't, I think that they are around somewhere. And I don't think that that's the case, that they will feel like, no, we don't need them anymore, so we'll just skedaddle. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Or actually your thoughts on it. How sensitive are they as far as feelings and that kind of thing? And the reason I ask is because if we get a sign and I think, oh, thank you, Andrew, and it really wasn't Andrew. I don't know if I told you the hummingbird feeder story in our class or not, but what if I'm giving credit to Andrew that he did a sign or whatever he did, and it was really my mom or something?
Yeah, they don't take it personal. If that, they won't take it personal at that. They're just glad to be acknowledged, whether it's you get it wrong or not, because I've done that before. My friend who gave me the kidney, because for my kidney transplant, it was funny because this exact thing happened. I'm used to my brother shenanigans in my bedroom when I'm sleeping. You know, I can usually feel them from time to time standing there just getting ready to mess with me. And it was literally, my friend was deployed at the time over in Afghanistan, and his father passed, and he was on his way back to the States. So this evening, it was like the next night, I feel somebody next to my bed, and I told my brother, I was like, you know, Jason, not now. And immediately it was like, it's not Jason, you know, it's George. Tell my son that I made it. And I was like, what the hell? So I don't know if that answers your question, but no, as far as feelings too, they don't, from my understanding, okay, again, it's theory. We don't have feelings in the physical world. We can trigger feelings in us to make us understand what they were going through or what you may going through, but we don't experience emotion like we do here in the physical world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that answered it.
Okay, I try. Usually, and I'm Italian, so my answers are never brief. I got to talk and talk.
No, I just getting it from somebody else's view, another perspective or whatever.
Yep.
Somebody else's.
And here's something too, and I feel my guide stepping forward for this, but they want us to remember, they don't want us to become dependent on our family and friends on the other side. If that makes sense, because it's like, it almost in a way hinders our healing if we like, and now my sister's stepping forward because she has told me this over and over and over and over. Because I used to ask her, you know, since I never saw it in the physical world, I'd be like, why can't I see you? I want to see you. And this is the most clear communication I think she's ever given me, but it hit me so hard and it made so much sense. She goes, listen, she goes, if I were to present, if I were to, you know, materialize, what is that going to accomplish? So she's basically saying if she shows me her, if she presents and I actually see her, what's it going to leave? It's going to leave me wanting that to happen more and more and more, right? And she was like, you got to remember, I am no longer in the physical world. I am never going to be in the physical world with you again. I'm going to be in spirit, but I'm no longer part of the physical world. And she just made me feel this all at once, that understanding that's the healing, is understanding that it's hard, but we're not going to have that physical experience again. And she communication.
That makes perfect sense, because I kind of got a little addicted to getting mediumship readings and pendulums and stuff the first year once I discovered it. And so I had to take a step back and because I was getting too dependent on it.
Uh-oh, it looks like Michael might have lost his connection.
There we go.
There he is.
That was weird.
That was Andrew telling me to be quiet.
So I'll try to finish that thought real quick, but basically what she's saying is, you know, part of the healing is understanding that, and you know, that it is hard. It's hard for us to realize that they're not in the physical world. They're still part of who we are. We're still connected, but that's part of the healing, is just understanding that that physical connection is not there, and learning to be okay with that. But then again, understanding that it's not goodbye. We will see each other again. So it's kind of like mediumship. It's a double-edged sword, you know, and I tell clients that if I have a session with you, I prefer not to see you again for at least 6 months. You know, because it's again, it's part of that. And it's hard. It's hard. You know, I haven't lost a child, but I've lost 3 siblings. And you know, it's just hard to you know, realize that, yeah, they're no longer here, and learning to be okay with that, and not becoming on the mediums. You know, it's good to have a message every now and then. Just they want us to know that they're there. They're always going to be around you. They see what's going on, but you know, I don't know if any of that rambling made sense, but that's kind of the thought. Again, it comes through as a thought a lot, but that's what my sister shared with me when I was asking her. It's like, no, I want to see you. I want to see you. You know, and she just conveyed it that way, that you're just going to want this more and more again and again. And
it all makes perfect sense, Michael. And that's what Nikki and I teach these ladies in our classes, and the dads as well. That's what we try to teach them, that the physical longing is something that it's really a goal, is to release that physical longing. It's probably the hardest part to release, but releasing it allows you to elevate your now relationship to the full spiritual level, rather than being encumbered with these heavy earth bodies.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of surrender. It takes a lot of surrender.
Every day.
And it doesn't get any easier. It's just, you know, from my perspective, again, it's just, you learn to live a little bit more without them being here physically each day. It's never going to be easy. We never,
I disagree. I disagree with that.
What's that?
It is now easy for me to live here without my son in physical. So
that's good.
I think it's a personalized journey on that.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I've worked my ass off to get to that, to release the physical and you know, so yeah, sorry. I stand really hard in my truth, and so, you know,
and everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
But you know, I think my energy is just, when I haven't done a group reading in probably, it's been a while. It's been a weird year. So it's kind of like I'm just kind of getting back into it again after like literally months and months and months.
You did awesome. I think you did awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, again, you know, with all this, it's just the message of, you know, they're still here in some way or another. You know, they're still here. And you don't know how fast time goes in the physical world. It's just like bam, you know. And it's a gift to be here, and they want us to appreciate that, and they want us to live it to the best of our ability, because it's temporary. You know, that's what we have to remember, is this is the temporary experience, not there. This is the temporary just classroom. That's how I look at this. It's the big class of life. And we come here to learn these lessons and, you know, develop our soul. And this is just part of it, you know. So, and, you know, going through the kidney transplant and all that, I almost died at one. People have told me you got to write a book about this stuff. But anyway, especially my kidney transplant, though, when you actually face your mortality, and it's like, you get that second chance at life, it's kind of like you look at things a whole lot different. You know, some people gasp at getting older. I'm like, getting older is a privilege. That's how I look at it. Every day, I don't look past tomorrow. I don't think about, I live in the moment. I mean, I especially since then, I don't think about tomorrow. I don't care what's going to happen tomorrow. People ask, what's your 3-year plan? It's like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't care. Tomorrow's going to happen. How can you plan for that? But, you know, every day's a gift. And I think we just need to, you know, enjoy it, no matter how hard it is, the best we can. And laugh. They want us to laugh, damn it. Quit taking shit so serious. That's one thing I don't do anymore. When I was in the military for 20 years, I was an uptight asshole. I am completely different now, believe me. You know, some things aren't worth getting upset about. And someday when we're all on the other side, we're gonna laugh at how serious we took some of this shit.
Amen to that.
Michael?
Yes.
I'm in my car, so you just see dark. So, but you know, I'm trying to develop as a medium, and my son took his own life. February will be 6 years ago. And I just feel like we'll always be connected to their kids. Now, the other day I was complaining to Nikki about my mom died when I was 17. And you think the spirit world could have gave me a heads up with a sign or something, but I never knew nothing until a year after my son passed away about the greater reality and spirit world and all that. I thought mediums were just like these fluke people on TV. You know
Nope.
what I mean? I thought dead was dead. So yes, so I'm driving in the car and I get a lot of messages in the car because I like get out of my head, you know?
Yeah.
So I heard her say yesterday or today, she said, I've been mothering you your whole life. My mother said that. And she also gave me the feeling that she has literally saved my life. You know, because I almost got in this car accident. I've had multiple things happen to me that like, it's like, why did I survive and my son didn't? You know what I mean? Well, he had a gun, you know, for one thing. So, but you know, for the people that are afraid in any way that their kids, you know, not going to be around, you know, my son, he'll come, like I used to feel him a lot more, you know, I do feel him less and less, but like I text his sons and boom, I felt him, you know, he knows he's around, you know what I mean? I like to think that it's like, he's got a tiny, like an eyeball on me across the room, you know what I mean? Kind of. And he's doing everything. But the minute I think about him or I ask him something or whatever, boom, he's there. I figure if God says we're like him and all that, that we're all omnipresent. You know what I mean? That he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. You know, they all are. Right? Is that true?
That's my thought on it. You know, it's, you know, because we kind of think, you know, we're not in the physical body. They can be in multiple places at once. And it's funny because my sister, especially my sister, you know, because I feel like I'm bothering her when I ask stupid questions about like this journey I'm on. And she's like, she almost scoffs at me, like, you know how this works. You're not bothering me, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, you know, because we feel like, are we asking too much of them? And we're not. If they don't want to talk to us, they won't talk to us for that moment. It's no big deal, but they're there.
Right. And I think sometimes they need more of their energy. You know what I mean? I've noticed it's weird, but my son was like, worked like a dog. So like on the weekends, I could feel him more. I know it's strange, but, and then sometimes I'll feel him more a little bit. And then I'll be like, God, I haven't felt him in months, you know, but I start getting upset, and then boom, he's back a little bit, you know, or he'll send me a cool sign or something. And we're always connected. We're always going to be connected. I don't like to bother my son that much. Even when I'm in breakout rooms with other mediums, I rarely ask him to come because he was 41 years old. He was married with 3 kids and had his own life. And I have to remind myself that when I need help, that I have to ask him because of my free will, you know what I mean? And then he always does help in some way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's great that you acknowledge that, and you pay attention to the signs, and you trust them signs, because a lot of people, and it's harder with people we're connected to. You know, my sister especially will chew my ass through other mediums, because you know, I'll ask her stuff and she'll answer, and she knows me. She's like, you know, because I'm always doubting, am I making this up? Yes, even mediums do that. And she'll come through to another friend and she's like, will you tell that son of a bitch yes, or whatever, you know, I am paying yes, or whatever the answer is. She'll make a point of saying, you know, I'm here. You know, so
yeah. And I've noticed that like I was actually talking to Nikki one night about this medium that I said was a fraud, right? And my son literally buzzed my foot. It was hysterical. He vibrated my foot. And so he was listening. He was right there, you know? So we never know when they're around. And for all we know, we could be living parallel lives with them right now still, you know what I mean? And it's
we are
just crazy.
That's a profound thought, because I believe we are, because the theory is that we incarnate with such a small portion of our soul, and that we are in different places. We don't realize it, but our soul is, you know, boundless. So we could be in multiple lives all at once. We're just not aware of it. But getting back to your point about people listening, I gotta share this because I will never forget this moment, because you mentioned frauds. Oh my God. I went to a mediumship demonstration, and I know how hard this work is, but when I see somebody that I know is full of shit, it's like I try not to judge, but there's some that I'm like, oh my God. And we went to this medium. It was a full house. It was, I think there was 75 people in this room. It took this woman 30 minutes to barely connect with some family that was there. And it was like the family was feeding her most of the information. And as I'm sitting there, and it was funny because me and my wife, and it was like 4 or 5 of our friends, and they're watching her and they're looking back at me, you know, trying to get my take. And I'm like poker face. I'm like, I'm trying to not make eye contact. I'm just paying attention. All of a sudden, my brother shows up, Jason. And as soon as I felt him, I'm like, oh shit. And I snickered. I said, this can't be good. And my wife saw me snicker. She goes, what's going on? I said, Jason's here. She's like, uh-oh. I'm like, yeah. Next thing out of his mouth was, holy shit, what is this shit show happening here tonight? And he's like, I'm going to go talk to her. And I was like, oh God, here we go.
Oh,
and my other friends kind of saw me laughing. They're like, what? And I'm like, my brother's here. And he's kind of like calling out this medium. I'm like, and I had never had that experience before, but that was my brother. He's like, what the fuck is this shit show? It was the thought he sent me. And I'm like, oh God.
And let me ask you, have you had your loved ones, have you had like evidence or intuition or whatever that like too many coincidences? Have you had like your dead siblings bring you people to read?
I get a lot of suicides.
Do you?
Yes, because I don't know if it was the military thing. I am very, and I mean to talk about this before every demonstration, that I'm not cold-hearted. I am, you know, I do have empathy, but when I'm doing this work, I compartmentalize my feelings, my emotions, because I feel that it doesn't do spirit justice for me to break down and get connected emotionally, because that prevents me from relaying the messages. So I kind of like compartmentalize that. And I think spirit, they know who to go to. They know who can handle what. I also get a lot of children that pass, you know, babies, infants, stillborns. And then again, I think it's just because they know that I'm not going to break down. I'm going to be able to deliver the message. So again, it's not that I'm cold-hearted, but you know, women, I can't even imagine that, you know, a woman who brought a child into the world, they lose that child, and a female medium knows that emotion too. They connect with that emotionally, and a lot of them will break down and not be able to really convey the full message because they're so emotionally connected. So I get a lot, you know, souls that commit suicide, children. I don't know, they're just very comfortable with working with me, and I'm honored. You know, some of the stories I've had with children, it's just amazing, you know, just the experiences that they share.
Some mediums do not, some female mediums that I've seen, in my opinion, kind of shut the reading down if the mom gets upset. And I don't really think that's right, personally.
No, I kind of like, you know, when I'm connecting the spirit, I'm not really paying attention to the person sitting in front of me. I'm not, because it's about the spirit and me relaying, I'm being their voice. So I try just to stay in that energy there, and you know, do my job the best I can to be their voice and convey the message.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you totally drained if you do something like this?
Not totally. It kind of fluctuates. Sometimes I go away feeling like really good. And that's why I like to talk to people afterwards, because it kind of just levels out that energy. And again, I want everybody here to be part of this and have an opportunity to share or ask questions. Because it's a group reading, and there's only going to be so much time for spirit to come through. But again, I want people to feel that they were a part of this in some way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So usually I'll go have a beer afterwards.
I'd like to comment about my son, because he's in life, he was a quiet person. He didn't, you know, he was kind of bashful. He didn't really. And today's his birthday, and
Oh,
all
my
day I've been
goodness.
saying, you need to come through. You need to come through. I don't care what your problem is. I would like to hear from you tonight. So he hasn't, but there's been a couple of little piggyback things where you've mentioned birthdays. And both times I thought that's his way of saying, here, I'll give you this, but that's all you
Yeah.
get, And the
Yeah,
one
and
too with the blue balloons, and you were talking to Kathy, and she, the birthday that she associated with was for her daughter, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. And but he also mentioned blue balloons whenever I set up a reading for myself and my ex-husband with Rachel, because she had made me feel so much better that I knew that it would help him as well, and
Mhm.
so he mentioned blue balloons in that. So I thought, yeah, he's
There you
taking
go.
a couple of little piggyback things.
Yeah,
And
and take that, because that's how
okay,
they work.
Mom, this is what you get,
Yeah, because I don't see them with my eyes, so I know
Right,
they're there, but I can't differentiate who's here. So if something comes
right.
out and it doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
the person, then I'm thinking, okay, it's somebody else that's going to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so good. I'm glad that you took that, and that's the way it should be. If you feel something connects with you, it's not your imagination.
Yeah. And I
It's
just know
really
how he
not.
was anyway. He's standing back going, I don't really want to be stepping forward in the middle of all these people,
And yeah, and you got to think about that too. It's like, there's a lot of, spirit, they don't lose their personality. So especially if it's something personal, they don't want to, don't want to air their laundry. And if
Right.
they were quiet and bashful, yeah, they're just going to kind of sit back and,
Mhm.
bide
Yeah.
their time and just watch. My brother Danny's like that. To get him to
Uh-huh.
talk to me, it's like pulling teeth, just like when he was here. He was just that person that would stand in the background and just watch,
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, dude,
That's-
you can
yeah.
come talk to me too once in a while. And I give him shit all the
Mhm.
time, because it's like, I usually feel Jason right away. And I'm like, where's Jeff? Mutt and Jeff. And Danny's usually off. I feel him in the back, I'm like, you gonna say anything?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's Patrick. So.
So anything else? Anybody else?
I have a question.
Sure.
So like, my two children are now, they're crossed, and so are they together? Like, are they usually together, or is it like in the physical world where I don't know how to phrase my question.
I understand what you're
Are they
asking.
typically together?
Again, I can relay from my experience with talking with them and just what I've learned about spirit. So I will say without a doubt that if we're connected here in the physical, they're connected there in some way. And this is, I feel my guide stepping forward to talk about this, but you got to remember, this was like a character that we play. This is like a big play. So their character during this life was your son and your daughter. So that will always be a part of their soul, but now they're back to their true self, their soul. So again, that was a learning experience for them. It's kind of hard to convey, because again, it's just all theory, but that's kind of what I felt over the years, that this is just a character that we play. So yes, we're connected. I mean, we're connected to people we didn't get along with, because the people that we have the most friction with are the ones that teach us the most. My military time, it's like all these people that my superiors that I could not stand, I learned a lot from them. Like when I get up in rank, I'm not going to be like them. I'm not going to treat people like that.
Right.
So it's kind of like that with the soul development. It's like they come here to learn these lessons and move on. But we're all connected. Usually the people that we can incarnate with are part of our soul family. And if you've never read the books by Michael Newton, I think you should. It's just like an eye opener. Dr. Michael Newton. He has a series of like 3 books. It's Life Between Lives. It kind of, I won't go into it because there's a lot to it, but it basically, he was a hypnotherapist back in the 70s who stumbled upon these past life regressions. I actually had one of these sessions about 10 years ago, and it was like completely mind blowing. But I got to experience my life leaving my most recent past life, that little bit in between, and the birth into this life. So it was just crazy. But he talks about these soul clusters, like we have a soul family. So we actually incarnate with people that we're connected with on the other side. We may play different roles. For instance, in your next life, you could be the daughter of your son.
Okay.
So it's kind of like this, you know, if you think about it, it's just endless. But again, it's theory, you know, but I tend to look at things common sense wise. And a lot of this stuff, it kind of makes sense. But
My son actually told me that, Michael, one of the first times I slipped into meditation with him. That's why I started researching soul contracts, is because he said, Mom, we've done this before. You
yeah,
were the child, I was the parent. You took an early in life exit. And because of the growth that I had through that, we've decided you would do it this time. To
yeah.
which I promptly told him that was bullshit and I call bullshit. But now I know better. He was right.
I'm
So
coming back as a cat next time because screw
I
this human
know I want to
bullshit.
be a rich cat or a rich dog, like a dog in a rich family. Vacay life, man. Vacay
Heck
life.
yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you for your service. My living son is in the Army, who I get to go see for Christmas in Alaska.
Awesome.
So as an Army mom, thank you for your service, and to your family for supporting you through it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's how that happened, that was a whole nother story. It's like I don't plan anything in life. I literally got off work one day. I was working as in a supermarket as a teenager, and I was like, huh, Air Force, that seems like a good idea. I'll just do 4 years. Yeah, 20 years later.
I did that to my mom. We got in a fight, and she's like, you need to join the military or something. So I pulled off and joined the Marine Corps, and she was like,
Well, yeah, right. It's like shock. I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. So thank you for your service.
thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for, letting me be a part of this. I really hope that everybody got something from this. Again, it's, everybody has this ability. Can't argue with that. Not with me anyway, because I've proven it to people that everybody connects. Everybody. And the biggest thing, like I say, and it's something that Spirit says over and over and over and over. It's like, this is not the end. This is temporary. I know I've said that several times, but it's just something to keep in mind that, laugh, enjoy the physical experience. You want to eat pizza every day, eat pizza every day. Because when we get back there, we don't have that physical experience. I've actually had Spirit tell me that. It's like, I wish I could eat a piece of pizza again. They can assimilate it, but it's not the same thing. So anyway, yeah, just enjoy the physical experience, let go of the guilt. They don't want us carrying it around. Everybody worries about how they're doing. It's like, no, they're worried about us because they can feel us. They know that we're sitting here carrying this burden still. And it's like, they just like, let that shit go.
Exactly. Let it go. We
Go
appreciate. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just having this thought the other day about that, about just, just not taking things serious. It was just a reminder about just not taking anything serious and just let shit go. I don't know. It was just my brother was giving me some prophetic thoughts, I guess, very, very deep thoughts, but in a funny way. So, yeah. And I just completely lost my train of thought. So that must be Spirit. Like, all right, stop talking.
That's all right. We're ramblers in here too. No worries on that. So you're in good company. We thank you so much for coming on tonight.
You're welcome.
I always like to try to bring at least one dude medium in. So because it's majority that
I
in the
know.
Greek community are women. So
oh my God, yes.
It's always great to have some male energy up in here. That's why we love Dave, because he's our token dad. He's usually our male energy when we're in classes. So I so appreciate it, and thank you so much.
No, thank you all.
Thank you very much, Michael. It was wonderful.
It was my absolute pleasure.
The rest of you, remember, we have a busy week this week. We have Robert Schwartz coming on to speak about his experiences and his books on Thursday. So we have a big spirit-filled week this week, which is pretty cool. So I'm so appreciative of you being part of it, Michael. Other than that, that's all I've got, guys.
All righty. Well, have a great night, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much, guys. Thanks, Michael.
Bye.
All right, bye.